Hey there.
Okay, I am.
I don't know why my video is not working.
Yeah, I didn't make change your,
I don't know. It allowed me to choose a background, but then
it won't actually turn your camera on.
no, for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, because it doesn't usually allows me if I'm like giving you your access to turn your camera on. So something on your computer, I don't know. Could be the background. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you.
Let me see. I'll go to the video settings and see because it says enable HD.
Yeah, like I can see there. The only other thing is like if you turn off the virtual background, maybe that's what's causing the issue.
Maybe. Let's see if that works. Nope.
No?
No. Oh, well, they just get my picture.
There we go. I don't, yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anywho, so we've got a handful of people in here right now. Some maybe more like trickle in here.
Yep.
I'm just going to start streaming us onto the Facebook group here.
Okay.
So Brawna, do you want to introduce yourself? So Brawna,
sure.
That's watching, that's participating. Brawna is one of our trainers here, but she's going to be taking over this Q&A session. I'm just going to be alongside to assist, answer questions, or do anything I can if needed.
Wonderful. Thanks, Crystal. Hello, everybody. Welcome. So I am Brawna. As Crystal said, I am one of the trainers here. I've been with AgentLocator for quite some time now, and I've spoken to many of our clients in terms of training. I'm really excited to be here today and help all of you with different questions and answers that you are seeking in terms of your lead generation websites as well as your CRM. What I do ask is that if you do, or when you do have a question, if you can kindly use the question and answer tab within your Zoom system as opposed to the chat. It'll make it easier to be able to follow along and make sure that all of your questions get asked. Are we streaming, Crystal?
We're on the way there. But go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I guess let's open it up to all of you first. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to get answered or have me show them in terms of either your lead generation website or your AgentLocator CRM? If you don't have any questions, not a problem. What I'll do is I will just simply go into our training site here that you see with me sharing my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and register myself. Now, for some of you who might be on the outskirts or in different parts of Canada or the US, I am located in the Greater Toronto area. So the properties that I will be seeing will be within Toronto. So I'm just going to put in Toronto in my website here. And this is going to just show you, and for those of you who have seen the training before, great, this might be just a refresher for you. And again, if anybody hasn't seen our training or gone through our training system, this will certainly let you see how the consumer registers on your site. So what you see here is the listings page, and just so you know, this is the page that our consumers will see when they do register on the site. So I'm just going to randomly choose a couple of different properties to show you how I would register the same as a consumer. And then from there, I'll show you and go into the website, and we can show you some different things in there as well and how to action some stuff. So as you saw, when I clicked on the first property here, I got a pop-up. Now I can go ahead as a consumer and register here, or I can try and bypass that. sometimes people will try and bypass it, and sometimes they'll just go ahead and register. Now, as some of you are aware, when people do register, we cannot control the information that they are putting in the system. So our system with our lead generation website, if you have Twilio or you're utilizing Twilio, Twilio is a third party that we have brought and joined partners with for our CRM, which goes ahead and helps in validating phone numbers. And when you register on the site, the system will automatically validate the email. So we work really hard at making sure that the information that our the consumers put into the CRM is hopefully correct for you. But again, as I'm sure many of you are aware, there's very little control we have in that information. So I'm just going to go ahead and register myself. And so the consumer would be doing the same thing here. They would be registering themselves the same way I am here as well. And what that does is it then now opens up the website to them. So as you can see, there's different properties here. There's different ways of looking at the photos. They can click on a photo and really get more in-depth information. And then they can also go ahead and they can save the properties as well. It's just by simply clicking the like listing here. So now that I have looked at a property, and I'm not going to look at many of them, I just looked at one, I'm going to show you how my information would come into the CRM. And so since none of you have any questions at this point, what I'm going to do is just simply show you how I would action it within the CRM. And now is a really great time to be actioning your leads within the CRM. I know it's kind of a weird time because of COVID-19, but believe it or not, it's not an insensitive time. Does anybody have any questions about how to action anything within the CRM? No? Okay, not a problem. So as you can see, my lead has come through here within the CRM right at the top. And when people register, they are registering within real time. So as you can see, we do have a registration source area here, which will tell you the date and time that they've registered, where they've registered from, meaning the website, or if you have Facebook leads coming in, or if you have an external source coming in outside of Facebook or the lead gen website, it'll show you that here. You also can see the approximate city I'm located in. It does not show you an exact pinpointed location. And I really want to point that out because it simply will give you an idea as to where they're located. So at least you know whether or not they're local to where you're focused on. So as you saw here, you can see that in the information section here, I have my email and phone number, and my email has been validated. So if I go into my contact here, you'll notice that if I go to the email section, here is the email that was sent to me. And the same way that you would check any email within the CRM, just by clicking on it, you can see what that particular email is. Okay. So when you come into the CRM, you'll notice right away that the email has been either validated or not validated. Now, there are multiple statuses that happen here. There is delivered, there's sent, there's in progress sometimes, which just means it's kind of held up within the internet. So sometimes you just need to refresh. It'll also show you, as you can see, they're delivered, clicked, or opened. So clicked, for all of you who don't know, when it says clicked, it means that somebody has liked what they saw in terms of your email that was sent to them. With that email, it means that they clicked on one of those properties. So it kind of tells you a lot of different information. And when they do click on that property, it's going to pull the property here within the last activity that they have done. So whether they're on your site or not, the system will show that they've looked at that particular property. I see here that somebody's got a question.
Nope, that was just me.
Oh, okay. All right,
That was just me.
fine.
Yeah.
So does anybody want to know specifically how to use specific items within the CRM? So maybe you're looking to figure out how to use Twilio, or maybe you want to understand more about Twilio. Anybody interested in finding out that information? Well, let me explain what Twilio is so that you can understand how our CRM works and can really work to your fullest advantage. So right now, when I speak to a lot of my clients that I'm training, a lot of times they're not really 100% sure what Twilio is. So Twilio is a third-party company that we have joined forces with. And when you go into the text messaging area here, or you have a phone number here, you can utilize Twilio. So Twilio is a dedicated phone number that is dedicated directly to you. And so if somebody were to go ahead and respond to a text message that was sent out from the CRM system, then at that point in time, you have full opportunity to go ahead and respond directly from your cell phone. So it'll come up with your Twilio phone number within your cell phone just so you can know how to recognize that, and you can go ahead and respond just by texting from your phone. That full conversation will be here in the CRM system. So I don't know if it's going to send me a message if I were to just go ahead and send a message out to myself right now, because I'm not sure how the Twilio is set up in our system. But what I want to show you here is that when I sent out a text message, a few things happened. So because Twilio is working, you'll notice that when that message went out, a few things changed within my contact. One being the phone number. So if you recall correctly at the beginning, guys, my phone number had a black icon, which meant unknown. Now it shows validated. The other thing you'll notice is that the tried to contact now it has appeared because the message has been received by my cell phone in my text messaging service. So Asia Chowdhury has a question. For my website and my lead gen, I was in need of a CRM, and I have just started with Exact Thinking. I didn't have a CRM with AgentLocator, but was asked by a colleague, why don't you use AgentLocator? So my question is, do I already have a CRM with you, or is this separate? The answer is yes, you do have a CRM with us. So when you join AgentLocator and you become one of our clients, whether you have a lead generation website where you're utilizing Google pay-per-click ads, or even not, maybe you're just using one of our lead generation websites, which is what we call this here, which is an unbranded site, where, as you can see, it's just a very basic site. When you have that, or you have a branded website where it's got your logos and multiple pages for sellers and buyers, either one of any of those types of websites all come with a CRM system. So what I show you here in terms of the CRM, this is our CRM system. This is our home. When you log in to your CRM, this is the home screen or dashboard. And again, there are no silly questions here. Please, guys, feel free to ask any question you want. Many times it's just a matter of understanding what it is that you see, simply because you're just not sure. So please feel free to ask any question you want. And again, I hope that that answered your question. As I was talking about Twilio, it is a dedicated phone number directly to you, and it's on what we call, or how I describe it, a permanent forwarding to your cell phone. So whether it be a text message or a cell phone. That contains your login details. Oh, so your contacts, Asia, contacts are in my Google. I have to add them through you guys. So you can do a lead import. What you need to do, Asia, is if you are looking to add any type of contacts from a different source. So for example, guys, let's say you've done multiple different open houses and you've got all of these contacts from open houses, put them in a spreadsheet. So what you want to do is in a spreadsheet, let me see, I don't think I have a spreadsheet here that I can show you, but in your Excel spreadsheet, you want to have multiple columns. So you want to have your first names in one column, your last names in another column, phone number in another column, and email in another column. So you need to have them separated. Then if you want to do a lead import, what you want to do is simply come to the settings icon here, and you'll notice this lead import that's right here. Simply click on that. When you click on that, if you're not sure what to do, we have many resources that are within the CRM, one being this question mark right at the top here. So if you're in this process and you're not 100% sure where to go from here, simply click on that question mark and you'll have a video here that's going to play for you that's going to show you how to do this import. Okay. Now, to go ahead and do an import, all you would simply do is just click New Lead Import. From there, you'll notice that there are different options here. The first option that you need to do is upload your file. So once you have your source, let's say quote unquote open houses, and you have it organized the way it needs to be organized, you would simply just click Browse on your computer, and then after you've done that, you would pull in the file, and then from there, it'll take you to the next step. So the next step is what we call mapping. And just so that you guys understand what mapping is those columns that I just mentioned to you. So the reason we ask you to put your first name in one column, last name in a second column, phone number in another one, and email in another one is so that when you're looking at the mapping, you can match our column names to your column names, so that way, when you complete the import, everything goes in its right spot. Now, you also will have the capability of adding tags to your lead import so you know exactly where that tag came from, and sources. So if your source is open house, you may want to go ahead and create the open house first, and then go from there. So just to show you, I know we do have some other questions here, so just give me one moment. I just want to focus for a moment on sources. So Asia is also asking, can I add my family, friends, business contacts and label them such as that? Yes. So let me just show you how to go ahead and do that. So if you go to the settings tab here, you're going to see there's a section here for sources. When you go into sources, you'll notice all of these different sources that we have here. You just simply click add new source, and you can put in, for example, open house. Okay, if I can type correctly. Once you've typed in open house, then just simply save. And now you're going to see that it's there. The same thing goes for adding tags. So just for some of you who may not understand what a tag is a way to mark a lead within your CRM system and group your leads together. So when we go into the settings tab here and click on tags, as you can see here, we have all sorts of different tags that are here. What we can do is just simply add new tag, and we can say here 123 John Street open house. Now, the way we recommend actually that you go ahead and you create a tag is the easiest way and the most organized way within your CRM is to think about it in terms of category and then a tag attached to that category. So when we take a look at categories, there's multiple different categories that you can choose from. Let me just show you here. I have a sample tag list that I can show you. Just bear with me 1 second while I pull that up. So as you can see here, when I talk about categories, we have a sample tag list. Crystal, if you can do me a favor, do you mind just putting the link to the sample tag list in the chat for people?
Sure thing.
Thank you. We have a sample tag list that we kind of help you get started. This obviously is just a sample, so it only has a few categories, which would be the most common categories that people would use. But for example, in terms of a category, communication. So as you'll notice, the category itself is all the same color. When we have here all the same color, you'll notice that the label has the letter C and then what that tag is. So the C stands for the category, and then the tag stands for what this definition is here. So for example, in communication, this person, if you were to tag this individual, has responds to email, or this person responds to text. Same thing would go for future opportunities. In terms of future opportunity, just because somebody has an agent doesn't mean that down the road they may not utilize you for services instead. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Crystal's gone ahead and put the link in the chat for everybody so that you can download that sample tag list. And we certainly recommend that you tag people with a category first. So in this case, I can say OH for open house so that I recognize that, do 123 John Street, choose a color, and then confirm. Okay, let's see. We have a question here. Oh, you're welcome, Jody. I'm really happy that that is very helpful to you. So moving on, so when you go to do your lead import, now there's a couple of ways that you can go ahead and add tags. One way was through the settings tab that I just showed you here. Now sources, this is the best way to add your source. But one of the advantages to making sure that when you do your lead imports, that you make sure you've got the correct source attached to those leads or the correct tag attached to those leads, because you can search by using our filter items here for those things. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. So another way to add a tag specifically, if you can't seem to find it here, or you're struggling and trying to figure out how to add a tag, just simply click on this plus sign here. So when you click on this plus sign, as you can see, some of our tags are showing the way I just mentioned to you, some of them are not. And when they're not organized, it makes it harder to find your tags. So a lot of times what happens is you end up duplicating your tags and making multiple tags because you're labeling them different all the time. So if you think in terms of category and tag this way, your sure way to be able to keep it all the same. So just remember though, when you do choose a color for your tag, just another piece about this, when you do choose a color for your tag, you're choosing it based on the category, not the tag. So this way, when your tags group together, you'll notice that the same color and letter will match. And this will group your tags together. So if you look at open house, it's that green. If you look at S, which means situational, here we have a couple of different situational tags here. And you'll notice that they group together and they're easier to find. Okay, to show you how to go about searching for either a source or a specific group of people under a source, or a specific group of people under a tag, you would simply click on add filter item here. You can either scroll down or simply just type in the box here what your search is in terms of a filter. In this case, I'm putting tag. And if I go ahead, I can choose any one of these tags. I don't know if anybody's connected to any of them. Here, so I just chose 123 Main Street, and as you can see, there's multiple people within our CRM here who have popped up based on that tag. And when you hover over that tag, it shows you what that tag is. So that's another thing too. So when you're looking at your CRMs and you're logging your information in terms of notes or in terms of phone calls, it's really important to go ahead and log a tag as well. And the reason being is when you get logged into the CRM, this is your home screen dashboard. So you can see as an overview, at a 30,000 foot view overview, what's going on with your leads just by looking at this dashboard. But it's going to be a little harder if you don't have any tags here. So when I take a look at this one here, I could see this person's an investor, they're a first-time buyer, or maybe they're just looking, or maybe I know now through communication that they're responding through email. So if I want to go ahead and communicate with them, email is the best way. Naveed, I see that you missed the category part. Not a problem. This is being recorded. We are streaming this live. You will certainly be able to review this video. And I think if I recall correctly, Crystal, this goes out as a link to them after it's been recorded. Is that correct?
It'll be in our Facebook group typically, because
Okay.
it is streaming live. It is on there. So wherever the live webinars are posted, typically we will have it there with the link, with the replay. But because it was a live video, it's actually always in the Agent Locator group as a video. So you can always watch it at any given time. But we do download it. So if you guys do want an actual copy, just let us know.
Yeah, so if any of you want a copy because you've come in a little later, not a problem. Simply just let us know, and we're happy to send that link off to you. Or you can just go, if you're part of our Facebook group page, just simply go there, click on videos, and it'll have the video there. Okay. Wade, I'm not sure why you might be having difficulties with viewing the share screen. I don't know if could be, you might have to make the font bigger on your computer to be able to view. It's as large as it can go on my computer right now, so I do apologize. Naveed, we will definitely, I'll make a note of that, Naveed. We will definitely send you a link.
Yeah, it'll also be in our YouTube channel as well. So we upload all of this stuff onto the YouTube channel. So you can easily just subscribe to Agent Locator on YouTube, and you're going to get a notification every time we upload a video on there as well.
Perfect. There you go. Thanks, Crystal.
No.
Any other questions in terms of what you'd like to see, or have any questions on how to action something specifically within your CRM, guys? Do you want to know how to maybe create filters, or maybe maybe you want to go ahead and understand about different filters that we share with you? There's certainly many different ways to organize your CRM. Let me see if we have any filters here. We do. So I'm going to show you when you come into your CRM, then when you come into your CRM, one of the first things you want to do is see who you need to phone. So our recommendation on Agent Locator's standpoint is that you should be calling your leads every other day, or every 2 to 3 days. You really don't want to leave it any longer than that. The reason being is the more you attempt to get a hold of your leads, the more successful you're going to be in finally getting in touch with them. So what we want to do is we usually create filters for you. For those of you who have gone through the training with us, usually there's filters in your CRM system. For those of you who haven't, simply just, you can send us or send me a message or send Crystal a message, and we're certainly happy to assist you with creating a filter. I'll show you what the filter looks like, and it's really simple to add. So right now we have our filters saved here under company filters, and just to explain the difference between company filters and personal filters, for those of you who have a team of people where they've got multiple people logging in to your CRM, from their login screens, if you create a company filter, it means that your entire team will have the availability to view that filter. If you save a filter as a personal filter, then only you in your login will see that filter, okay? Now, I'm going to click here, new leads, 0 calls logged. Crystal, yeah, I did go over sources. Asia had asked about that, so we did talk about sources.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. So.
Yep, it's all good. It's all good. So am I. So am I. So as you see here, there are 3 pieces of criteria within respect to this particular filter here. So number 1, new lead, 0 calls logged. So what this means is it should be pulling only your brand new people who have never had a phone call from you. So the reason I say brand new people is because if you're doing what you should be doing within your CRM and calling people on a daily or every few days, you should not have anybody who has never had a phone call within your CRM, unless you've uploaded your own lead list. And by uploading your own list, you obviously would have not gone through those leads specifically in the CRM unless you were diligent to go back and update all that information. So when I say 0 calls logged, if you look at the last contact section within the dashboard, you'll notice that it tells you the last time a lead has been contacted. So in this case, there's either text messaging, there's email, and there's phone. When it says 0, those people have never had a phone call. Okay, so you want to correct that. You want it so that everybody has had at least 1 phone call or hopefully multiple phone calls. Okay. You'll also notice the second filter is what we call phone validity, which means that the phone number has either a green or a black icon like this one here. Now, just because if you have Twilio and Twilio is doing its job in terms of validating your phone numbers, if it sent out a text message, just because that icon stays black does not mean it is an invalid phone number. It could very well mean that it's a landline phone number, meaning a home or business number. So just because it's black does not mean you do not call them. You absolutely call them. So black means unknown, green means valid. You want to go ahead and you want to call every single person. The only way to know with 100% certainty when it's a black icon that it is an invalid number, then you need to make that phone call. If after you've made that phone call, you discover that you got an automated message that says this number does not exist, or somebody picks up the phone to you and says, I'm sorry that you've got the wrong number, and you feel pretty confident that it's not the individual who registered, then simply go ahead, click on the pull down menu and mark it as invalid. Okay. I'm just going to put it back as unknown for a moment. The third filter that is in here shows you anybody within your pipeline that shows not set, new lead, and tried to contact. So just to explain, any lead that comes through your lead generation website will come in as new lead. Once the system has sent them a text message and validated their phone number, the system will automatically change the pipeline to tried to contact. Once that happens, it still falls under this criteria. Now, the not set option also comes in play when you have a branded site with us. When you have a branded site with us and somebody registers, the system will show them as not set. And that's because there isn't any automation on those sites or some of those sites with respect to the system automatically validating email or phone number. So they come in as not set because you have not actioned them as of yet. So any of these people that fall under these criteria will come into the search here. Really important to log those phone calls. So there's a couple of different ways to go ahead and log those phone calls. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do that. The first way that I'm going to show you is how to log a manual phone call. So a manual phone call is simply coming into the notes and calls section here, click on call. You're going to choose a date and time of that call and choose a call result. Now, if you do not have Twilio, and even if you do have Twilio, any of the options that you choose here will prompt changes both with the phone number icon and your pipeline icon. So for example, if I were to say the lead called in and I go ahead and I type a message here and I click save, what's going to happen is the pipeline is going to automatically change to made contact because now the system recognizes that I have communicated with someone within the CRM. If I were to choose talk to lead, it would do the same thing. If I were to choose wrong number, it's going to show my phone number as an invalid with a red icon. If I were to go ahead and choose left voicemail, it's going to say tried to contact. So every time you choose a different option here, it will change either the phone icon or the pipeline icon. Now, one of the things to make note of in terms of your pipelines is the first three options, new lead, tried to contact, and made contact, the system will automatically change for you based on how you log your phone calls and or the text messages back and forth. However, from set meeting onward, you will need to manually change that. So it's really important that if you've gone ahead and you've spoken to somebody and you guys have set a meeting, change the pipeline to set meeting. Or if you're showing them property, change it to showing property. Just to go back about talking about the invalid phone numbers for a moment, one of the things I want to point out to you in regards to that is that if you have an invalid phone number and you do not mark that phone number and or email as invalid, then at that point in time, you are still giving that person permission to log into your website and view your listings. What you want to do is make sure to try and capture their information. So it's really important that when you know with 100% certainty that the phone number and or email are invalid, that you mark them as such. Because by doing so, when the time comes, and I've seen this happen many times, where people come back to the website because you're sending them emails, or maybe you've texted them, or whatever the case may be, somehow you've communicated with them and it's a reminder to them that they have logged into your website before. When they come back to your website, if you've marked them as invalid, the system's going to automatically prompt them to put in correct information and revalidate themselves. So you have another opportunity when you do get invalid information to capture new information from them and be able to action them. Wade is asking, when I send my database to AgentLocator to upload, should I already have them tagged in the file I send? That is not necessary to do, Wade. You can tag them within our system. What I do recommend that you do is if you guys have multiple different sources, I would recommend that you make sure you save an Excel spreadsheet for each individual source. Do not upload all of your sources in one big file, because then when you want to click the correct source or tag them correctly when you're uploading them, it's going to be a big mess. So let's say you've got 3 or 4 different sources. Let's say you've got friends and family as one source and you've got open houses as another source. Maybe you have a new build construction site that you've got sources coming in from that you're advertising for. Maybe you've done paper advertising that people have contacted you, or flyers. Whatever those sources are, make sure that each one of those files are separated in their own Excel spreadsheet before you upload them, so that when you do go and import them, you're importing one Excel spreadsheet of one source at a time. So hopefully that answers your question, Wade.
It's not necessary to actually do, like, it's one way. It depends on how extensive your import list actually is.
Right.
Because your Excel sheet, as long as you have a column that is source, you will cover that in mapping. So this column here, whatever it is, open house, that's the source field. The only thing is if you want to add a tag to all of those leads that you're importing, that's when you definitely want to separate it, because you can't import or add a tag at the time of import reflective of the source or what have you. So if you really want to be specific with the tags that you're adding to them, add import, then definitely separate it. It's also a great way if you do have an extensive database that if you break it down and you just happen to mess something up, you didn't just import thousands of people that you now have to delete all those people and start all over again. It just kind of, you can gradually start to throw people in there. You can set them up on specific campaigns. So you can actually have it so that an email is automatically sent to that person at the time of import, or they're automatically added to something, which may differ depending on how the source of that lead. What you send to somebody from an open house lead versus friends and family, it's likely going to differ to some minor extent.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain, so Bruce is asking, can you explain how to get another opportunity to get correct information if someone has registered with the fake number, but a correct email? Like, do I make both phone and email invalid, and prompts them to give correct info next time they log in? So the next time they log in, you only really need to mark one of them as invalid. So if the phone number is invalid, you're going to mark the phone number as invalid. If the email is invalid, the email is going to be invalid. If both are invalid, then both are going to be invalid. If you mark both of them as invalid, then what I would also do is change your pipeline to garbage. That do not delete your lead, because just because you delete a lead, then at that point in time, it doesn't mean that they don't have access to your website. They can still log in or attempt to log in. And if they go ahead and update the information and validate themselves, they're going to get access. But then what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to see them within your CRM. So never, in my recommendation, and I'm sure Crystal recommends the same, don't ever delete your leads, because this way you can keep track of your stats. You can keep track of who's a garbage lead, who's not, how many leads have come in for each month, and you know exactly where you're at. So when you do mark them as invalid, it's going to prompt them for whatever that invalid information is when they go to log back on. Okay. Thank you, Naveed. Naveed said that's a very good point. I have deleted all invalids and garbage leads. Unfortunately, you can't retrieve those again, but now going forward, hopefully you will leave them, Naveed, and not delete them. Asia says here that he's got about a number of contacts within his CRM, have about 5 or 6 categories. So could I send an Excel file that has the separated tabs, or is it better to send 5 or 6 different files? Doing the separated tabs, you would need to save each page individually if you wanted to do it that way, or you can do it the way Crystal suggested, where you have another column that is the actual source, so that if you've got all your sources that have already been added within the CRM system, when you go to do that import and you do that mapping, you can connect the right source to the right person. If you feel the way I suggested it, that that might be easier for you, then save each individual tab as its own page or own file. So you have your one master file that may have 5 or 6 tabs, and then you just save an individual page within that master file as, you know, your open house page, or as your friends and family page, or as whatever the case may be. Okay. And then you just simply upload those pages one at a time. So I hope that that helps. Perfect. Let's see. So actioning your leads, we were talking about filters a moment ago. There is a second filter here that we typically will add for you guys. A lot of the information is the same as the original filter that I showed you, which was number one, where you've got the phone and pipeline information is the same. The difference with this one here, the new lead needs to contact filter, is that these are people that are being pulled up who have not been called in more than 2 days. So for example, this one here shows 2 phone calls were made and the last time that they were contacted was 1 month ago. So with it being a month ago, that's a long time. So they're going to be pulling up in this search because they haven't been called in more than 2 days. The other thing to make note of, and I don't know if I can see them here, any of your 0 call logged people, meaning if you have not logged your calls, whether it be manually or through Twilio by calling out from the CRM directly. Anything that says 0 here under the last contact phone portion of the last contact, they will also show up in this list. So that's one of the reasons why it's really, really important to make sure to log all of your calls that you make. Bruce has a question. What do you do with leads that say they have another agent that they call to go see homes they like, but they are still using the site to browse homes? I have previously put these leads in the garbage, but now realize that that is a mistake. Absolutely, I agree with you. It is a mistake. So one of the things that you want to do is when you do speak to those particular leads, you want to be very upfront and let them know that you are not looking to step on any other agent's toes. You're here to help. They came to you. You did not come to them. So you are fully authorized to be able to contact them based on the terms and agreements with your website that they have agreed to. When you do contact them, you want to say to them something like, thank you so much for being on my website. I'm really here to help you. They tell you that they've got an agent. No problem. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Obviously, I'm not sure if you're happy with your agent or not. If there is anything that you do wish to find out about and your agent's not able to help you get that information, I'm happy to assist you. Or you can even ask them if it's okay if you continue sending them listings based on the search that they've done in your site. Over time, we have heard from different agents that people who have said to them that they have an agent, people who have said to them that they have an agent, when they've gone ahead and responded to a client who's inquiring about something, then at that point in time, the client is thrilled that the person who is not the agent that they're working with on a typical basis responded to them faster than their own agent and have gone ahead with the new agent who's gotten the lead directly from the CRM, with that agent as opposed to the agent that they've been loyal to. So I hope that that answers that question for you. In terms of how to action people who say that they have an agent. Don't put them as a garbage. I would go ahead and tag them as future opportunity. Future opportunity. I don't know if we have has an agent here. So I would create a tag if you don't have one that says future opportunity has agent, and then choose the right color for that category. Now that I've gone ahead and done that, I would just simply click on that. And now I can see, looking at it here, that they're a future opportunity. They have an agent. So again, just be very clear and very upfront. You're very welcome.
Fastest way to get an agent off the phone is to tell them you have realtor. So
Absolutely.
sometimes just asking a question back, like, how long have you been working with your realtor for? Or how long have you guys been looking? Just answer, putting them on the spot forces an answer, and you can tell if they're being honest. Most people know 5 to 6 realtors. It's very easy to say you have one. Doesn't mean they're in contract with one. right? They could be 2 years out from buying a home, but they have an agent, right? It's really about the matter of who's nurturing that lead. Right now, there's a lot of people that are putting their searches on hold because of the current situation, and you may just happen to be doing your routine, just check in, just making sure everything's okay, how you doing, and their realtor's forgotten all about them. And so you're stepping in at a time when people need you the most or looking for somebody to lean on, and their realtor or so-called realtor was nowhere to be found. So it's just being careful not to step on toes. And if you do a future follow-up with that person, wait about a month. Do not mention anything about the realtor. It'll be like, hey, Brawna, just following up to see if you have any questions about those listings you're receiving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Harbinder is asking, how can I check for leads who may not have logged into my site for the past 3 years? Also, should I delete those leads who never visited my site? So number one, do not delete the leads. I would not be deleting your leads. If anything, just you can put them as a not set, or if they're garbage leads, or just leave them in the status that they're in. How to find them? What you want to do is, if you've made contact with them, and let me see if I have a filter here. If you've made contact with some of those leads, what you can do is, if you've already made contact with them, you can create a made contact filter, which focuses on the pipeline that's made contact. And if you'll notice here, there's also an option called last activity. So you could put here based on a date. This year, last year, from the beginning. You can choose all dates before a specific date. So if you wanted to say all before this date, let's say all before March 31st of 2020, and then apply that filter. Everybody who's a made contact who you've spoken with prior to a particular date will show up, and this one shows 48 people. Another way to go ahead and just search for those people is just even putting in last activity here. Or you can do the registration date. You can click in registration and choose if you wanted to know when they registered between a certain amount of dates, or maybe you want to know anybody who registered, let's say before February 1st of 2020, and apply that filter. So everybody who registered in your CRM prior will come up in this search. So there's many different ways that you can go ahead and search for the last 3 years. If you've been in the CRM system for 4, 5, 6 years, then obviously go from when you started to the whatever date it is that you're looking for. Or you can just, if you wanted to even search for like the last 30 or 60 days, then what you would do is just choose all leads within the last number of days. You type in 30 or 60 days or 90 days, whatever the case may be, and then those people will come up. Some of them may be made contacts, some of them maybe will be tried contacts or new leads. It makes no difference what the pipeline states if you're just using registration or last activity. If you want to know when somebody was just last active, and it doesn't matter to you if you've made contact with them or not, and you want to check just to see within the last 30 days, for example, you can apply that filter, and then it'll pull up those people who were just active on your site within the last 30 days. So if it doesn't matter to you if they're made contact or not, then that's the way that you can do that, simply through the filter searches. We have a question here. You're very welcome, Bruce. Any other questions that people may have? We have about 8, 9 minutes left here. Anything specific you would like me to show you in terms of the CRM, or how to action something or search for something within the CRM? Okay, one of the things I think I didn't get a chance to show you guys, which was how to call out directly from Twilio within the CRM. Oh, how do you save a new filter? Okay, so before I answer that question, I'm just going to show you quickly how to call out from the CRM utilizing Twilio. You're just going to go ahead and click on the phone number and click dial lead. When you get this pop-up coming up, which is just taking a moment to load, it works just like a cell phone. You would hit green button to talk, red button to hang up. When you do that, you get the save and continue. One of the things we recommend is, remember, we've always been talking about logging your calls. So you want to make sure to choose a call result here first and then type in your message here and then hit save and continue. So you don't want to leave anything undone. It's like, think of it like you're leaving yourself little breadcrumbs in terms of your CRM as to what's happening with your particular lead. So if we go in here just quickly to show you, and I go to the notes and calls, you'll notice that the call that I made has a recording here. So that's the difference between the two ways to log a phone call. One has a recording that you can download. Here's the note. And then, of course, all the other information is the same. Now to go back to how to do a save a new filter. If we go to the home screen, let's say I wanted to create a filter that focuses just on my made contacts. You want to give the filter a name. So this one would be made contact, just straight made contact, for example, or maybe made contact activity before March 31, 2020, just so I have a date. So I want to do that date scenario in this case. I'm going to go ahead and add the filter. In this case, I'm going to add the pipeline. When I do that, I'm going to choose specifically made contact, and then I'm going to click here again to add the registration date, because again, the registration date would be anybody active prior to a certain date. So I'm choosing registration date, or you can choose last activity. In this case, I'm going to say I want to know everybody prior to a specific date, and I'm going to choose March 31st of 2020. I'm going to apply the filter first. After I've applied that filter, I'm either going to, now this is if you are creating a brand new filter. So in creating a brand new filter, you're going to either click company or personal filter. If I go ahead and I click personal filter, when you go to this pull down menu here, you're going to see here that here is my personal filter. Now, if I wanted to save it as a company filter, when I click company filter, it'll save it again. But as you can see here, it's saving it within the company filter that all of my other agents who are logging in as well could use. Now, one of the things to point out is if you pull a filter and you want to change the criteria and you want to save the change of that criteria. So let's say I want to change the registration date to October 1st of 2019. I'm going to first apply that filter. I'm not going to go up here if I want to change that on a permanent basis so that it's always that date. I'm going to click update filter here instead to save that, because I don't necessarily need to have the same one over and over. Now, if you are changing the date, you know, you may want to just change the date here. That will save it as a new one, but you can change your filters just by simply updating. So let me just show you an easier one to explain. Again, let's say I wanted to change the pipelines here and I wanted them to be any made contacts that I have never had a phone call with, and I apply that filter. I would just simply update the filter to save that, as opposed to creating a new one. And then everybody who is a made contact who I've never called will show up in this filter. Hopefully that answers your question on how to do that. Any other questions, guys? We have about 2 minutes left. Any other questions that I can assist you with before we wrap up? Wonderful. So I hope that this has been informative for you guys. As Crystal has said, all of this will be on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. If you do wish to have the link sent directly to you, we are certainly happy to do that. If you need assistance with any of the filters, please let us know. Send either Crystal or myself an email, and we can certainly see about getting one of our trainers to assist you, or us ourselves can assist you with those filters and just kind of getting you started if you don't already have filters in play. Also, if any of you are looking to get brush ups in terms of training, we are continuously training throughout this time of COVID-19. We are here to help all of you. Please feel free to connect with us if you do want added CRM training, to ask any specific questions or just go over your CRM specifically. We're happy to do that. And we can certainly book a time with one of our trainers. Crystal, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we sign off?
Not at this point. If anyone, and one thing I can share is, or Brawna, the training link, so they can book directly if they have that.
I can put that in the chat right now.
Yeah. I do have a question on Facebook from Greg Brown, just asking, I have one client, all their emails say sent for the last 3 months of emails. Would they have received it? I'm just going to answer that, Greg.
Yep.
Likely, with respect to that, what's happened is you're sending emails through the legacy CRM system. So in the legacy system, so if you're sending out like one of the old campaign emails, or you're sending them through the V2 option in that legacy for listing emails, it'll always say sent. It doesn't update the actions like it would if you were sending, or the statuses rather, like if you were sending through the new CRM system. So the only way you could really see if they like opened it is to access that lead through the legacy CRM system. Aside from that, if you do have campaigns, or you're using campaigns that are built on the legacy system, then by all means, you're going to want to put those campaigns or create them in the new system. And so that's actually what Monday's webinar is all about, is email campaigns. So hopefully that will help you out. But a lot of times, yeah, the legacy emails will always just say sent. And if it said sent and you have a valid email, they most likely receive that email. It's just not giving you that status update.
Wonderful. Navita had a question. How can I be added to all of the trainings without registering every single time? Actually, Navita, because you have registered for this particular training, leveraging your services, you are actually automatically registered for all of the other ones that we are putting on. I believe they're on Mondays and Fridays. Is that correct, Crystal?
Yes, that's where we're running them. It's typically Monday, Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific, 11 Mountain, 12 Central. So
I have no idea how you just remembered all that.
Because I live in a different time zone. I'm forced to remember all the time zones. So, but yeah, so you're automatically, every webinar, you should get that reminder email, an hour, I believe, before the actual event. But you just click the same link, throw it in your Google or your whatever calendar you use, and just join the webinar, and you'll be in here.
Absolutely. Any other questions, guys? Otherwise, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for all of your questions. We hope that we've been helpful. And if you need anything, please feel free again to email us. And if you're looking for extra training, just simply click the link that's in the chat. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.